Good morning, my friends. Hi, Connie. Good morning, Liz. Welcome. Welcome to Friday Fun Day. I am super excited to bring you guys another fun, quick project. So how you guys all doing this morning? Good morning, Janet. Everyone's doing well? All right. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Almost the weekend. It's kind of a short week, right, for some of us? Okay. Good morning, Diana. Welcome. So today's project is really cute, really simple. I was just checking my mics to make sure that my mic was on. Nothing like talking for 5 minutes and realizing your mic is off, which has happened before, of course, right? Good morning, Birdie. So today's project is a mitered placemat. It's super cute, super simple, and I thought it was just in time for summer picnics or Christmas in July projects, things like that. So I'm going to turn the camera over and show you what I have. Good morning, Leanie. Hi, Nancy. All right, so here is my summer picnic placemat, and I have quilted the center, and I want you guys to take a note of my mitered corners. Aren't they just amazing? So this is a really super easy project, one that you can do very simply. It only takes 2 fat quarters, so it's again for fabric, so for one placemat, 2 fat quarters. And I just happened to choose this really fun, bright watermelon fabric. I thought, you know what, this is perfect for the summertime, right? And found this hot pink coordinating piece to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this. So you guys ready? All right, so the first thing you need is, let me just give you the dimensions here. Let's see if you guys can even see that. All right, these are my dimensions. Now it doesn't have to be this. So my top fabric is 17 by 11.5 and it's finished. My fleece is 17 by 11.5, again finished. And then my border and my backing fabric. And I'm gonna explain all that in just a second, how I got these numbers, okay? So what I did with mine is I quilted it on my machine. So of course I quilted it on the machine. I'm not going to do it manually because I'm just too lazy. So you do want to quilt your fabric first. So you take your big chunk of fabric, so basically your fat quarter, and you quilt it. And I used my IQ Designer on my machine, excuse me, IQ Designer or my Design Center, and I quilted the fabric. Now, if you want to use your sewing machine, all you need to do is draw your lines, and you can draw them whatever distance apart, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. You don't even have to make these cross hatches. You can do another pattern. This here is a great place to practice your free motion quilting skills because you have this space, right? I'm not a good free motion quilter. I have a great teacher who is. That's just not me. So I use my machine whenever I can do things like this. So if you don't want to do free motion quilting, you don't have to. You can just use your walking foot and quilt on, just draw lines and then just quilt on those lines. Just basically you're stitching on those lines. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Jeannie. Welcome. So that's one way to do it. You can also do other patterns. I've seen patterns where you just go in almost like a Greek key pattern. You're just going around and you go in the perimeter a little bit and you come in. So you can really have fun quilting your piece. Now my piece, like I said earlier, was quilted on my machine. I used IQ Designer. And if you guys want, at the end, I can show you how I did that. It took about 5 minutes to create it and then 8 minutes to stitch out. Really fast. So my size of my placement was determined by my embroidery, because remember I have a hoop size that is my limitation, right? So my hoop size is 10 5/8 by 16. So that was my hoop size. So 10 5/8 by 16. So I just pretty much maxed out my hoop size when I did my embroidery. I maxed out my hoop size, and then I want to go ahead and cut my fabric down. So what I did was I left about 1/2 inch on each side of my embroidery. Okay, so that's how I cut my fabric down, and that's how I came up with my dimensions of 17 and 11.5. And let me go ahead and put that back up again. It's hard to see, sorry about that. I should have done it on white paper, but it was a last minute thought to write these measurements down. And I've seen placemats 14 by 18, you know, so it's up to you. It's really up to you. Now the reason, if you are going to use fat quarters though, you're going to be mindful of what size your top fabric is, because your back fabric, let me bring this over, your back fabric comes over and around. So you can't have a big center portion because you won't have enough room to bring this over. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you wanted a wider border, you can absolutely do that. You will just use yardage rather than fat quarters. That's all. I just happen to use fat quarters, and so between the fat quarters and my hoop size, this is the size that I came up with. And I think it's fine. I think it's perfect. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and fused fusible fleece on the back of my on the back of my top fabric. I fused it, and then I went ahead and I hooped it, and I did my quilting. So if you are doing machine quilting, you would do it that way. If you were doing it by just using your walking foot, you would just start quilting it at that point. So once you are done with that, you have this beautiful quilted piece of fabric, and then you want to trim it down. So again, I went about 1/2 inch on each side, and I just cut it down. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for now. And then you have your back piece of fabric. So my back piece of fabric, so in my case, I did a 2-inch border around each end. So here is my pink, is my backing fabric. I'm just going to lay this, and I've drawn lines on here solely because I've already cut my fabric, and I want to make sure that I get it right in the same position. Otherwise, I'm going to have an awful placemat on live camera here, right? So this is essentially how it's going to be. You're going to have your backing fabric, and you're going to put it wrong side to wrong side. And what you're going to want to do is you are going to use your ruler, and you are going to measure, 2 inches from the outer edge of your placemat, the top fabric, to the edge of your backing fabric. So I went ahead and measured 2 inches around. So I just go all the way around and measure 2 inches. So I'm just double checking, 2 inches, and then I'll come to the bottom. Good morning, Linda, welcome. Okay, so I'm pretty good. I've got 2 inches all the way around, okay? And then what you want to do is you don't want this top fabric to shift on you, so you want to spray with 505 spray. Now I've seen some people actually do a little top stitch, just a little close to the edge here. The only reason I didn't do that is because it's going to show on the back side. Not that anyone's going to turn it over, but I don't know. I just felt like 505 really held it in place. So I'm just going to go off camera for just a second to spray, because I don't think you want to see all these fumes. I don't know if you would even see the fumes, but I'm just going to spray my fabric. All right, so I've gone ahead and I sprayed the back of this, and now I'm just going to press it in place. And again, you want to check to make sure you have your 2 inches. Now I've drawn those lines ahead of time, so I know I'm pretty good. Okay, so once you have that, the next thing you want to do is you are going to cut our corners. And to do that, you are going to need, let me just move my mouse here. Okay, you are going to need a ruler, and a ruler with a 45-degree angle. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it has a 45-degree line here, an angle. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to line up that 45-degree line along the edge of one of the sides, whether it's the short side, the long side, it doesn't really matter, but you want to line up that 45 degrees along that edge. Okay. The next thing you want to do is you want to extend your ruler a 1/4 inch beyond this point. So on my ruler, I'm lucky enough on this ruler, I can really see the 1/4 inch mark right here. So what I'm going to do is first look for my 45-degree line, and then I'm going to go out a 1/4 inch. So I want you guys to see that. Let me see if I can get a little pointer here. All right, so here's my line, my 45-degree line, and then here I am 1/4 inch beyond the placemat. And this is where you're going to cut. So you can draw first and then cut, or you can just get in there and cut. Okay, and let's do that for the other side as well, so just so you guys can see that. So here I am on this side, and again I'm going to place my 45-degree line along the edge, and I'm going to extend a 1/4 inch beyond the actual placemat. Good morning, Lynn. How are you? Good. And then you're going to cut. Oh gosh, I have probably one little nick on my rotary cutter. Don't you love it? Okay, so I've already done the other two sides as well ahead of time, just to save some time here on camera. So I have all 4 sides already cut, ready to go. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to fold each of these sides and press it 1/2 inch. So I have this little tool here. It's called a hot ruler, and it's wonderful for pressing, and you can press directly on it, so it's really cool for that. So what I'm going to do is on this ruler, let me zoom in so you guys can really see it. There is a 1/4 inch mark, a 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, etc. So I'm going to use the 1/2 inch. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my fabric until it meets that 1/2 inch mark, and I'm going to give it a press. Okay, so let me go over to the iron. Let me change cameras, and if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you as I go over. And oh, where's my wrong camera? Okay, there we go. All right, so here I am. Let me move my mic so you guys can still hear me. And I'm just going to, so I've already pressed a couple of the sides as well ahead of time, just to save some time. I don't think you guys need to really see me press. Everybody knows how to press. But I wanted to show you this ruler. It's really cool. So I'm just going to place my ruler here, fold my fabric up to the 1/2 inch mark, and then give it a press. And let me see, I just turned my iron back on. It went over, it just turned off. Oh, the hot rulers, yes, they're on my website. So all the products that I'm featuring today are on my website. It's under the online store under Friday Fun Day. I keep it all in one section, so it's easy for you guys to find it. I also have these kits. So if you're interested in the placemat kit with the fabric that I'm showing you today, I have that as well. So the hot ruler is $19.95. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to go ahead and fold it over, and I'm going to give it a press. See how cool that is? And then I can just slip it out. Super easy to press it. And then while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and press this again. I've already pressed it with the hot ruler, so I'm just going to give it another press, just for good measure. And then we'll go to the other side. And we will press it again. Okay, and the last side. And I've already done this side as well, but I'll just press it. Now, I've also seen people, let me change cameras. Let me go to the other camera and I'll show you that. So let's move my mic back to where it needs to be. Let me change cameras. Okay, I've also seen some people, what they do is they top stitch, where's the camera here? Okay, they top stitch this right here. Again though, if I top stitch, it's going to show, so when I bring this over, it's going to show. So it's okay, I mean, if you don't mind that, it's fine, it's a top stitch, right? But I chose not to top stitch. I chose just to give it a good press. Okay, so any questions so far? All right, so the next step is to do the corners. And you can and if you take a peek here, you can kind of see it is coming together, right? It is coming together pretty nicely. So that's what I'm saying, it's a super easy pattern. So what you want to do is you want to actually now fold this backwards. You're going to fold it on itself. So did we just have an earthquake? Oh, I didn't feel it, Diana. But you know, we had a really big one in Northern California yesterday. So, and with this weather, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I hate earthquakes. Did we just have an earthquake? Did you feel anything?
No.
No? Okay.
But I was walking. So
but you were walking? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fold this, and we're going to fold it back on itself, and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch. Oh my gosh, yeah. Nancy felt it. Jeannie just felt it. So I have an earthquake app on my phone, but it didn't, well, maybe I wasn't really paying attention either. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and fold this piece, and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch. So let me see. I don't have pins handy here. Can you imagine? They are next to on my cutting table, but that would mean getting up and walking. So, oh, you just ordered the kit, Leanie? Thank you. I know, it's super cute. I love this fabric. So I'm just going to use the clips here. The key though to this, actually, let me give this a little bit of a good press here on the end. All right, the key to this, my friends, is to make sure, where are we here? Oh, I'm all thumbs today. I haven't had my coffee. I actually made coffee at home, my cappuccino, and I forgot it in the Keurig. Okay, let's start over, Salima. Actually, I'm just gonna go from the back. It's just easier. And then just line these two. So the key is to make sure that the folded edges are nice and even. That's the key, because that's going to be where it's just going to show if it's not. So there we go. And then we're going to sew a 1/4 inch. So I think what I'll do is I'll pin all 4 sides and then go to the machine. I'm going to give these a little bit of a better press because I didn't do a good job on the corner. All right. And you want to just make sure that they match. Whoops, I'm off camera. And then we're going to grab the clips and then just pin it or clip it. And you kind of, it's almost like making a little tray here. And if you just go go clockwise, you just kind of get each corner, and then you can do the same thing. And one last side. Thanks, Birdie. I know, I hate earthquakes because you can't predict them. You know, if it's a storm, you see it coming or you hear it, right, on the news or whatever. But anyway, so look, it's like a little tray, right? You guys kind of see that? It's like a little tray. So I'm just going to go take it over to the machine. Let me change cameras, and we're just going to start sewing. And on my machine, I do have a 1/4 inch foot ready to go. And this fabric is being unruly to me today. What's happening? You know what it is I need to spray more. It's just not sticking in place. Okay. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm not going to pin all 4 at the same time. I'm going to take one out because it's just being unruly. Okay, here we go. Oh, Leni, that's so funny. I know. Well, I had my tea this morning. I definitely can't go without something. All right, let's wake up the machine here. Come on, baby. Just waiting for it to wake up. I got my embroidery unit on, so it's gonna do a little test. Hang on one second. Let me just, there we go. Okay, there we go. So, gosh, the way I was behaving, you'd think this is my first time sewing. Okay, I have my 1/4 inch foot on the machine with the guide, so I'm just going to start sewing, and I'm going to do a back tack. So you want to reverse in the beginning, and then you want to stitch on. All right, one side done. Let's move on to the second side. Anybody have any questions so far? Marty, absolutely. I have a box of clips here in the store, so I'll put one aside for you. I love Wonder Clips. I think I started using more of the clips than the pins recently. Whoops, whoops, whoops. I'm jamming here. Hang on a second. I'm talking and I'm not paying attention. Okay, let's start over. Is my hand in the way? I can't even see. I'm not really looking on the camera. Okay. Trying to get my hands out of the way so you guys can see. Oh, it's not sewing. What's happening? Okay, it's chewing up my fabric. Nothing like on camera, right? It's gonna mess up. It's gonna mess up on live, but that's okay because you know what? We're all human and it happens to all of us. Give me a second here. Let me just take my seam apart real quick. Oh, and of course, like I've back tacked it how many times, so it's like a stiff one. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to come in a little bit and then go back. How's that? All right, let's try that. See, when all else fails, you just make it work. Okay, 2 sides done. And let's go on to the 3rd side. Alright, one more side. Sorry guys, I know this is kind of boring to watch me sew this, but okay. I didn't catch on that last one. Let me do that last one again. I am losing it. I really do know how to sew. All right, let's do that one again. I'm telling you, I'm gonna blame it on my coffee. Didn't have my coffee this morning. I had my tea, but tea is not as strong for me, right? Tea is just kind of light. Oh, goodness gracious, what's happening? Let's do it this way. I'm just gonna make it work here, my friends. All right, if one side is not good, we'll know what happened. 3 out of 4 would be okay. I know, Nancy. Of course, when you make your sample, it's like so easy. It's like, oh, it's easy. I got this. Okay, so here we go. I've sewn all my 4 sides, barely, right? And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring it over here, and I'm just going to tuck, let's get my camera situated. I'm going to tuck the top inside. It's almost like, you know, tucking your sheets in or something at night. Just kind of tuck it all in here. Okay, and then you need your little pointer tool, and you want to just gently point this corner out. You see that? See? Really nice corner. You want to just point that out. There we go. Just gently do that. And actually, I just forgot a step. Let me go back real quick. What might help with those corners is we need to clip these. All right, so we're, oops, there's a pin. Well, I found one pin. All right, we need to clip the corners. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go back and take the time to do that, because although that one corner looked good, I don't know. So I'm just clipping the corners, and I'm gonna do one more step after I clip, actually. I guess I should read my notes, huh? I'm just winging it. Winging it on live. Not a good idea. Thanks, Linda. I am winging it at this point. Okay, so I've clipped the corners, but I really should press my seams open. See, I left out a big part of it. So you can finger press it, or you can take it to an iron. So let's see if I can finger press that, or do I need to go to my iron? I think I'm gonna go to my iron. So let's change cameras. Where's my iron? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to my iron. Let's make it proper. Much easier than finger pressing. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm not really even watching the camera at this point. I'm just pressing here. So I'm just taking my seam, and I'm opening up the seam, and I am just pressing it. One more side. If I can get it open, that would be good too. Did I tell you this is a comedy show? This is not a technique show today. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Okay. I know, that's what happens. When I'm trying to do things fast, that's exactly what happens, Marty. When I go slow, I'm obviously better at it, but okay. So my seams are pressed open. Now let's see if I can repeat that same process, tucking it in, tucking all 4 corners, get rid of this thread, get rid of that thread. My mom would be so proud of me when I get rid of all the threads. She's a perfectionist sewer. And I'm a sewer that I just need to get things done. I need to give that a press. Okay, so my friends, it's all ready to go, and I'm gonna now go to my iron and give it another press, okay? So let's change over real quick so you guys can, once again, watch me press. So I'm just bringing, I don't know if you guys can hear me, here's the mic. I'm just going to bring this over and give it a good press. And you want to give it a good press so that way when you are top stitching, it's just easier. Okay, let's see what we have. All right, see, much easier and much nicer after it's pressed. So there we go. And then now we're just going to top stitch along the edge. And when I top stitch, I'm going to use my edge stitch foot. I'm going to use my edge stitch foot so that I can go ahead and really get close. Yes, Birdie, you absolutely can. You can use 2-sided tape, the double-sided tape to stick that down. Absolutely, you can. Yep. And then we're just going to top stitch it. Now, I'll show you how I'm going to top stitch it. I'm not going to actually do it. I don't think you guys really need to see me top stitch, but you want to make sure you have the same thread, of course, top and bottom. Let me show you my final project. And you can see you hardly see the top stitching. The color is just perfect. So it hardly shows. But if you want to be contrasting, you can, right? You can put a contrasting thread. You don't even have to sew close to it if you want it to go a little bit further out. You don't want to go too far out because remember, you've only folded that seam that 1/2 inch. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of wobbly on the inside, right? So you want to, you can go 1/4 inch out and do that as well. But I just chose to do a pretty color that just matches, so in case I'm a little off, it doesn't show, right? It's more forgiving. Okay, so let me show you one thing on the machine to top stitch it, and then if you guys want to, I can show you how I quilted it real quick. So when I'm top stitching it, I do use a different foot. So right now I had the 1/4 inch foot on the machine, and I do use the edge joining foot, and the edge joining foot has a blade right here in the center. So what happens is that blade, I don't know if you guys can, well, maybe I should just do it this way since I'm not really sewing. Let me just do it this way. What happens is the edge joining foot that blade rides right along that fold. So it's just going to ride right along there. And then what I do is I adjust my needle position over a couple of ticks. Do I stitch the corners? No, I'm just going to go and stitch all the way around here now. So the top stitching is going to go all the way around, and that takes care of my corners. Yeah. So when I do use the edge stitching foot, I do want to change my needle position, because right now my needle position would be in the center of this foot. So I move it a few ticks over to the right, just to make sure that it catches my fabric. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial / comedy session. But yeah, that's what happens when you're on live. But it is really cute, really fun to do, and you guys can start getting ready for Christmas. Make placemats for Christmas. You know, you can make 4 in just a jiffy, right? Just really just assembly line them and get them done. So yes, 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 I love the edge joining foot. I have 3 feet that are right next to my machine. It's the edge joining foot, it's a 1/4 inch foot with the guide, and then, you know, of course, your standard foot. Those are kind of like my go-tos. Yep. All right. Any other questions? I hope you guys enjoyed Friday Fun Day. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So good to see all of you guys. And like I said, if you're interested in this kit, I do have it on my website as well. So you can purchase the kit or just use your own fabric, right? So it's really fun, really cute, super simple. All right, my friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stay tuned for another Friday Fun Day next Friday. And until then, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.